Hey you guys, and welcome to my September wrap-up video. So for those of you who couldn't see before we get started on what books I read, I'm in a new old location. I've filmed here once or twice, but usually I film nighttime. Obviously it's day, but usually I film at night, so it's kind of hard to film right here. And also, like, I didn't have a lot of light over here, but I recently got 2 lamps, so that really helps. So right now I think it's even more lit up right now than the last video I did in this corner, because the last video I did, I didn't move the curtains so that at least some sunlight could come in. So I think it's kind of well lit right now, so I guess I will be using this corner as much as I can. That way you guys can, you know, have like different backgrounds from time to time. But let's go ahead and get started. But you guys let me know what you think of this background, as well as you can hear me clearly and everything. And yeah, so if I look down, it's because I'm looking at my phone. I have it open to Goodreads, and the first book that I read in the month of September was Just a Bit Twisted by Alessandra. And this is the first book in a series. They've each followed different couples, but you know, each couple gets their own stories that they kind of intersect once in a while. This is just the first one. I read the prequel, loved it, so I got this one, and the other couple makes like a cameo in this one, which I love. But it follows Sean, and he's a struggling college student. His parents recently passed away, and he has custody of his twin sister, so he's having a hard time with, you know, paying for their babysitting, holding down a couple of jobs while maintaining his scholarship at college. And there's this one professor who just like won't give him a break in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know, they kind of strike some kind of illicit deal, and it's a romance bordering like erotica between him and Professor Rutledge. So if that's your thing, yeah. If it's not your thing, you probably don't even want to touch that. But you know, professor-student relationships, I loved it. I mean, I love Sean. He was awesome. You just want to hold him and like give him all the help that he needs. Professor Rutledge, once in a while, is just like, I want to slap you. That feeling does get better towards the end. I mean, it's a short book, and I wish we could have spent a little bit longer with, especially concerning the professor, because we get to know Sean a whole lot more, because it's from his point of view. We can see all the angles, but we do sort of see some of the professor and his life. Whew. Yeah, I guess you can kind of understand why he is the way he is, but I loved it overall. And so yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read was The Chef by Weir. It's a short story, so I will just link you to the story so you guys can go read it yourself. And I will be linking all the Goodreads for all the books that I mentioned below anyway. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So there is that. And then the next book that I read was An Abundance of Katherines by John Green. This one was a worry one, because I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about it, because, you know, math, and then of course I heard like way worse stuff about this one from the people that I know. Like out of all their Green books, like this one was either their least favorite, or some people just like outright hated it. But I surprisingly ended up loving it. I don't mind the whole John Green existential crisis type thing, which I feel like is like the basis of most of his books. At this point I read most of them. But I don't mind that genre as long as you like do it well, and I feel like he does it well. And in this case, this follows this boy named Colin Singleton, and he has one of the things that he is known for is being dumped by all his girlfriends, all 19 of them, and their name has always been Katherine with a K. So that's part of it. I think he just graduated like high school, and him and his friends are going on a road trip. Him and his friend dragged him on a road trip to kind of get him out of his funk. And one of his funks though is not the whole Katherine thing, but also being a prodigy. Like he had, like when he was younger, like everyone has all these high hopes for him. He's really smart, he reads a lot, you know, he knows all these things, he can memorize all this stuff, and you know, he's just like really like awesome at that stuff, you know. But he's like, I'm a prodigy, but I'm not a genius. I haven't made anything my own, and that's something that really gnaws at him all the time. And I guess I can understand how he's feeling. You know, we all want to create something. I really loved it, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So yeah. Then the next thing that I read, there was If I Stay by Gayle Forman. So this one, I have been spoiled on it. It's been out for a while. It's not really surprising that I may have come across a spoiler or two. So I wasn't sure. So I ended up watching the movie. And I love the movie, even though I knew it was gonna happen and stuff like that. I loved it, totally loved it. And so like a week later, I read the book finally, and I thought the book would take me a while, but it didn't. I loved the book. I was drawn into the book like right away, and I was like, what? I can't believe I loved it as much as I did. The book and the movie are very, very similar. There's hardly any differences, and I was still grabbed, and I think it was like the writing style and me loving the character. So I ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. I haven't read the sequel yet. That one I'm really kind of iffy about, but I will definitely give it a try, maybe sometime next year. So yeah. And I did a review for If I Stay, so I'm gonna link that down below. And then the next thing that I read was Jim Butcher's Dresden File series, Welcome to the Jungle. This is issue 1. Okay. I thought it was supposed to be like all the issues together. There's like 6 of them in all, but it wasn't. And when I was on the site, it didn't like, you know, sometimes like they'll have it near each other. It just said Welcome to the Jungle. It didn't have issue 1 or stuff like that, or probably wouldn't have got it. It was only like $1.99 anyway, so there's that. But I was kind of disappointed, but I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and we'll talk more about it later. Okay, so the next thing that I read was more Dresden Files graphic novels, and this one is Downtown. It's a new original short story. I definitely want to get a physical copy of this because I really do love like the graphics in here. You guys can see that. And this story takes place like way later in the Dresden File series. So if you guys haven't read the Dresden File series, you probably don't want to read Downtown just yet, unless you're already like maybe like 10 books into the series. I don't even know because it's been so long, because they have a character in here that I know is not in the beginning of the series, so it was just so hard. I look back here because this is where I keep my like Dresden File series books. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars to all 6 issues. I just love seeing Dresden again and being in his world, and he's always so nice and funny. It's just awesome. So then the next book that I read was Cress by Marissa Meyer, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I read The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And I also saw the movie, and I really, really liked it. I was at Walmart and I bought it, but I love the movie. I love the book more than I like the movie. I talked about these 2 books in my #yearathon, so if you guys want to know more about what I thought about them, you guys can go to that video. So then the next thing that some of you may see coming I read was Welcome to the Jungle, the Dresden File series. Yes, after that whole mishap with only buying 1 issue, I went off and found a used copy of the graphic novel. It was just pure awesomeness, you guys. So glad. Now this one is the Welcome to the Jungle, and it's a prequel to this series, so you don't have to read the you didn't have to read the Dresden Files series books in order to like get everything, because it's just like a short story before it gets all into that. So if you wanted to like ease your way into the series, I guess this is a good way to go if you don't want to go off and read the first novel right away. So oh my god, just beautiful. And of course now I'm stuck on buying all the Dresden Files graphic novels that they have available. Some weren't out yet, but some are going to be out in physical form soon, so I'll just wait on that instead of buying them on my Kindle or something. And then the next book that I read was Armada by Ernest Cline. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. I actually got this for a review from Blogging for Books, so I'm gonna link my written review down below. And I really enjoyed it. Obviously 4 out of 5 stars, but I felt like it could have been longer, and it definitely been just longer with certain characters, and just should have been longer in general. I felt like there should have been a lot more into this book, especially as a standalone book, but I also do see room for a sequel by the time we got to the end. But I definitely also see it as like you could read it and you'd be fine as a standalone, and you'll be left wondering about some stuff, but it also leaves room for a sequel if there ever is one. So yeah, definitely really enjoyed it. And then last but not least, I read Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is how it looks. I was so before I read this book, I was on Book Outlet, and they were doing like, they were getting in some new books that week that came out not long ago, and I miss buying this. They only had 3 copies, so I know it's going to be a while before they ever get this back on in their site, and I miss buying it. And I was even more sad after I was done reading this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and this is me who convinced Geraldine to give it 1 star because she didn't like it. But I was like, she was talking to me about it before I read it, and I was like, if you hate it that much, why didn't you just give it 1 star? And she did, and she's more happy for it. And I totally, like, I was like, yeah, that's good, but I gave it 5 stars. Okay, and she was just like, really? I was like, hey, look, you gave it 1 star, I'm fine with that. So don't be on me about my 5 star. So this follows this girl, and she lives in this village, and in this village this dragon comes, like, I forgot how many years, but every couple of years he'll take a girl with him to his castle. He's not a real dragon, and he's not eating the girls or killing the girls, because even their village wouldn't stand for that, I guess. But he takes the most like talented, pretty one, you know, the most special one in her village, and she thinks it's going to be her best friend who gets taken, but instead when he gets there, he takes her. It's totally unexpected. And I just love the main character. She like had reactions like I think how we would have reactions. Once in a while, yeah, I did think she was like a little stupid and naive, but the thing I liked about her though was that she didn't keep at that level pace, because sometimes it goes on for far too long in a book, and I'm like, and if this is especially in a standalone book, you know, there has to be like some, like you need them to wise up a little bit more faster and faster as the book goes on. And I feel like this is something that happens in this case. And the dragon, well, it's part of his name, I believe. I can't remember his first name, but I really ended up liking him too. It would have been nice to see from his point of view, but from what we do see from her point of view, we do understand, I think, more about his character as it goes along and why he is the way he is. And yeah, so I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. So yeah, that is all that I read in the month of September. You guys let me know down below if you guys have read any of these books. Are you planning to read any of these books, and what were your thoughts on them? What was one of your favorite books in September? I obviously have a lot for like different reasons. So yeah, you guys let me know any and all thoughts, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.